Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing very, very well. I'm in my old stomping ground. Well, not really my old stomping ground. I'm over in Ware. Cute, everyone in the comments going, Ware? It's W-A-R-E. I'm in my new RoadSkin jacket. It's like a overshirt type thing. But look what I'm on. The oldie Ducati. Turn the beast on, shall we? Make some noise. This thing is absolutely on the button now. I'm going to move back before she reverses into me. God, it rumbles along. I head over to BikeStop, probably the final time, and we'll get onto that in a minute. But head over to BikeStop, had a little coffee and catch up with Dave. This is Dave Ashpole and Joe. Then Joe and I head over to Buntingford to have some breakfast. And now I'm heading back to Welling, which is my old stomping ground. Like actually my old stomping ground, because it's Emma's brother's birthday. And it's been a while since I've been on the bike, just for sort of pleasure, I guess. I'm riding the KTM a lot at the moment going into work. I'm rarely riding a bike just for pleasure. So I'm trying to bring this beast out a little bit. Joe made an appearance on his Ducati, which he's sort of trying to sell, or I think it's open for sale. I don't think he really wants to sell it, if I'm honest, but trying to free up some money kind of thing. So we had a bit of a blast together, made an absolute V-twin rumbling noises. But yes, I thought I'd do a very quick video, little update I guess. This bike is really bad for speeding. It feels like I'm doing about 15 miles an hour at the moment, and I'm doing just under 40. Do that and it's suddenly like, oh, double the speed of it. Not that I would know that, obviously. First of all, a little bit all over the place with the channel recently, no real direction. And that's predominantly because, if you don't already know, I'm in the midst of a house renovation. We bought a house and it's like a 60s built house, 60s, 70s house. So there's a lot of things that we're in the process of doing. We've spent a metric shit ton of money on it so far. Well, a shit ton of money for me and Emma, should we say. If you're going to pull out on me, at least pull out. Come on, doing 5 miles an hour. Put a new boiler in, all the upstairs windows have been done. We knocked through the wall because it had a separate toilet and bathroom but next to each other, so we knocked through the wall. And then Mickey V, the legend that is, came up the other week and was helping. We spent almost an entire week. Everything we sort of started doing ended up uncovering more and more little things. If I'm a little bit muffled as well, it's because I've got a neck buff thing over my face. Because there was a wall in the middle of the bathroom and the toilet, I'm doing that because, don't get excited, Mark from Leeds. Because there was a wall in the middle, there was a radiator on either side, so we had two pipes coming up either side of where the wall was, so we had 4 pipes just coming out the floor. My idea was, alright, well I'll get rid of those pipes, reuse 2 of the main pipes feeding those, to essentially put the new radiator in. It should have been relatively easy, and Dad and I started working on taking them apart. Copper pipes are meant to be soldered and they should not move, but Dad had the blowtorch out ready to heat up the old solder and break them off pretty much. They just rotated even before we got some heat on them, and I'm like, that's not good. We ended up replacing pretty much all the piping going back into the loft, so everything in the bathroom got replaced. Everything underneath the floor going towards, like, to the airing cupboard to go upstairs got replaced. The soil pipe and everything, oh, it was so much more of a job than we sort of expected it to be. Well, not really, but like, it's one of those things where we expected certain level of faffery, and it ended up being twice the amount, and it's still not done. We're doing it all ourselves, so that's probably what's taking so long. This is not fun for me, it's hurting my wrists now. So yeah, we've spent a lot of time doing that, and we've spent a lot of time doing a load of other stuff. Work is stupidly busy at the moment because we've just had a new managing director start. There's a few things that have been problems for a while with the company, and the new MD is very keen to change those. It's given me my second wind, as it were, to try and get some changes done at the company. I'm hoping we're going to be in a good position to actually get some stuff done, but it's just meant it's actually quite busy, on top of work being actually busy as well. What I'm kind of alluding to is that's kind of the reason the channel's been a bit all over the place. House renovation, trying to run a YouTube channel, busy at work, trying to fix up, modify and all sorts of stuff with the bikes and the K-truck, so I do apologise for that. Now the bathroom is kind of usable, I'm hoping it won't be too long before I can actually start proper focusing on the channel again. I've never felt so busy in my life, so people ask me if I want to do something at the weekend, I'm like, I'm not sure if I've got time. Getting on to the subject of bikes, let's talk bikes, because other stuff is boring. The new KTMs are going down quite a storm so far. By this point, I don't know whether they would release the Super Duke GT, but they've definitely released the Super Adventure and the Super Adventure Evo, and they've released a sort of a host of other bikes as well. I'm hoping once I've got my double garage built, I'll be in a position where I can add a bike to that garage as well. Although I am definitely being drawn to older bikes more and more recently, because all the new stuff is just, well, all the new stuff's automatic for one, which we'll get onto. I'm gonna get to Welling before we even have a chance to finish this conversation. Riding something like this, it's just such a raw experience. This bike has probably got 110 horsepower, but it feels more raw than my modified Super Adventure with 170 odd horsepower. My Super Adventure is an absolute menace to ride, but this just feels like something else. Definitely tempted to spend my money more on older bikes than it is, and older cars and older trucks and stuff, than it is on the new stuff. What do we all think of this new automatic manual transmission that is just everywhere at the moment? So Yamaha have launched a load of bikes with it, obviously KTM have, obviously BMW have. Oh god, this thing sounds so good. If I've still got the foot pedal down here to change gears, it's essentially, for me, it's almost like just a really good quick shifter. And then going into London, like on my KTM, it would be a dream to not have a clutch. It's an odd feeling. I know so many people are so heavily against an auto sort of manual or a DCT or anything, but Joe's got the Africa Twin with the DCT, and it is fantastic. It is so good. I definitely still take the piss out of him for it, but I'm basically at this pub thing now where we're going to go and get some lunch. So I will pick this video back up after I've eaten some lunch. And it might be dark, so I need to be careful, because this the headlights on this still drain the battery quite a lot. Oh wow. Is that an old 140? That's so cool. I think that one's for sale. Right everybody, that was a nice little meal. Basically what happens with it is I've got this little battery readout down there, and if I put my lights on, the power starts dropping, and it did it quite substantially before, so I don't know. Oh, listen to it. I don't know whether it's like a parasitic draw or whether it's just because I've got the headlights on. While it's still moderately light outside, I'm going to head off because I don't want to risk it, so I can carry on talking about motorbikes with you lot, you gorgeous lot. The smell of non-EU regulation bikes. I'm going to put the side lights on as a minimum, and then I'll put the headlights on when it starts getting dark. No, it still seems to have a decent voltage when I got the side lights on. I wonder if the ground on the headlights just loose or something. All these new bikes at the moment seem to be coming out with like the auto manual transmission, and on something that's like a big touring bike, they're fantastic things. Like I said before, Joe's Africa Twin is just so good. It's not the fastest bike in the world, yeah, sure. Getting off the line with an auto transmission is just, it's almost unbeatable. Now they've sort of, well, Honda anyway, now Honda have sorted out the sort of changing mid-corner and all that kind of stuff. It's actually really good. I still like the sensation of changing gear and deciding what the bike gear is myself, especially when I'm riding fast. But when I'm riding lazily into London or whatever, I don't care. Like, it's just, I'm not riding the bike for satisfaction or anything. I'm riding the bike as a means of transport. the fact that you can change gear and you can do it all manually via... Sorry, had to. Yeah, the fact that you can do it manually on the foot controls, the only difference is you're not doing that. That's literally the only difference. I don't use my clutch when I'm riding the bike. It's only pulling away. And the only other time I actually use the clutch is when I'm off-road and I'm wanting to sort of feather it going around a corner and stuff. So Jesus, there's a vast difference for me between someone saying I've got an automatic bike and an auto manual. There's this huge difference there. Having the bike entirely decide what I'm doing, in what gear I'm in, I don't want that. I'm also thinking about other things which would be very useful. Say I'm on a track, not that I really do track days, I'm still deciding what gear to be in with my foot. You get the fastest start you'll ever be able to do because it's all done for you. Most MotoGP bikes and everything have like that anyway. It's sort of like an assisted launch regardless. The big plus for me is that you're never going to have something like a false neutral coming into a corner. There was a certain YouTuber that crashed a bike because they hit a false neutral coming into a corner. I'm sure it was a press bike as well. There's not really a lot you can do in way of saving that. So, oh god, that overrun, the noise of it. Ugh. I can definitely see the benefit. The only real place that I'm debating whether it'd be a bad thing would be off-road. The way I ride a bike off-road anyway is very motocross style, where you're just full throttle, rolling off, back to corner, full throttle, hard on the brakes, which is not a problem with that auto manual transmission because it's fine, like it will do that easily. When you're doing the slow speed stuff in like enduro level stuff, yeah, 100%, it wouldn't be the right conditions for that. It would have to be in the manual mode 90% of the time for me. I don't know whether this is, I'm going to have to say this in two different ways because I don't know whether I'm allowed to say it properly yet or not. As you would have heard if you watched my last video on, oh well, on this bike actually, my last little vloggy video, you will know that unfortunately Martin and Monica, who are the owners of BikeStop, my beloved BikeStop, unfortunately they lost their daughter to a relatively sudden sort of attack of cancer. Awful news, obviously. I'm assuming that has got quite a bit to do with the decisions they've made. My run with Martin and Monica and BikeStop, as it is now, is coming to an end. That's obviously nothing to do with our relationship. I still have a lot of respect and admiration for both of them. I don't know what's going to happen with my discount code or anything like that. I think the website has already changed. I'm struggling because I don't really know how to say this without actually saying it, but you can sort of read between the lines, I guess. Oh, I've just hit 8,000 miles. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. 8,001 miles. Now stop looking at that gauge. But yes, my discount code will probably likely not work for a while. And my relationship with BikeStop as it currently is, I suppose, put on pause. I wouldn't say it's over, but it's on pause. I don't think my headlight's working. Well, that one's working. Well, people are going to have to deal with my high beam, sorry. My low beam's blown, I think. Oh, I hit 50,000 miles on the KTM the other day. 50,000 miles. Anyone that thinks KTMs are unreliable, sod off. This is where it gets busy. I'm going to have to put my high beam back on, aren't I? No. See me, thank you. I've got a little plan for this bike, which involves a very, very long trip. This is probably the best the M25 ever gets. It is always like this. Right, everybody, I can't remember what else I was going to talk about. I'm gonna go though. I need to focus on not dying on a 1995 Ducati with only the high beam working in heavy traffic. at night with no ABS or traction control. Oh, fun. I'm going to love and leave you. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye.